forgot to sing the song. Wait, it's gonna go again. Hold on, I gotta turn it off. Oh man, it's not that fast. You bought donut holes? Yeah, I could use a couple donut holes right now. I can't find my music. God damn it, there it is. Wait. Okay, whoops, that's not the right one. Hello? Hello? There, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? How about some improvisational xylophone jazz? Yes. Xylophone jazz. Yeah, I love that. Lionel Hampton. I love it. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Neil. Neil was here on time. No groceries today. So it's Neil and Mr. Spock and Lolo. Good morning. Welcome to the Neil, Mr. Spock, and Lolo show. Stephanie! Stephanie's here. Welcome, Stephanie. Oop is here. Welcome. Good morning. Happy Friday. Is it Friday? It's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Hey, crazy. Hey, crazy trade shit happening this morning. More info next week. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lee, I'm so sorry. Oh, Lee. I hope everything's okay. I'm so sorry. You have to go to a funeral. Oh my. I love you. I hope everything's I'm so sorry. That's so painful. That coffee is tiny. I know, cuz I needed to get fills this morning. And so it just happened. I don't know how this is going to go. This is not very much. This is basically like one of those espresso cups, you know. Good morning, Tom. Oh my gosh, we have Tom. That's so lucky. G Dump took the stock market from 50,000 to 46,000. Takes talent. Yeah. Wow. There is so much. I love jazz. I do too. Hi, Grace Lisa. Hello, darling. Oh my God. Grace Lisa, you're here. I love you. Good morning. I'm sorry to act so excited to see everybody. I just am. Okay, I'm sorry. You used to be a music librarian. Oh, Grace Lisa, that's fucking amazing. For fantasy records. Oh my God, Grace Lisa. That is such a great job. Oh my God, how fun that would be. Was it fun? Was it fun? Tragic friend's husband killed in a car accident this weekend. Oh, Lee, that's so painful. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. Well, I'm sending a lot of love and comfort her way, a big hug. Oh my gosh, there's no words for that. When you lose someone, and when you lose someone so suddenly, like that too there's some, I don't know. That to me is one of the toughest ways. I mean, it's just, I don't know, everything is, there's so much loss right now. It's very warm here in Los Angeles too, by the way. Just letting you know that. That is awful. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I feel like, all loss is so painful. There's a dimension to sudden loss that really is unfathomable. That's really the word I have, unfathomable. And so sending a ton of love your way. Yeah, right? Doesn't it, Lee? Doesn't those situations put everything else in perspective? That at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, all that matters is love. All that matters is and love in terms of the feeling that it produces, right? Not just love because you need to have love. Love because that's just such a, I don't know. It's just that's experiencing that joy with people and other things is really what life is about. So that's why it's just the suddenness of it is really what makes it's just so sad. Well, we're sending a lot of love your way, Lee. And be careful out there, okay? Be careful on the roads. Be careful out there and be careful. Just be careful, everybody, okay? Because this is a weird time right now. That's just basically what I'm trying to say. And I hope we all hang in there. I don't know if you watched the press conference this morning. I actually didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched about 10 minutes or so of it. So I would like to watch it again. I hope that's not too much. But I would like to watch it again because it's kind of an important briefing, especially as this. Good morning, gal. How are you, my love? This is the same March Friday as 13th March 2020. Really, Grace Lisa? Wait, is this the 13th? Is it really? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Ugh. Okay. Well, remember where you were then. I do. And it wasn't pretty. I remember where I was, and it wasn't pretty. So I would like to watch, if you could indulge me, the briefing from the Pentagon this morning, just to kind of get level set on that. A used Friday the 13th used to be a real country. Yeah, exactly. I didn't pull up any of the stuff that I had curated for today because I'm a lazy bitch. But good morning, happy Friday. Oh, sorry. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Lolo. I'm Lolo. I'm not awake, but I'm Lolo. And you've happened upon Wake and Bake, and here is where we watch news and smoke weed, and that's basically what we do. That's basically what we do. So you've come to the right place. So grab your coffee or your tea or your water. It's Friday the 13th, bad luck day. I'm sending that out to a very special person who watches my show after the fact, just to let them know that I love them very much. And they used to they have a story about Friday the 13th, which is very cute. Okay. Let's see what's going. Oh! Oh! Greetings from. Well, goddamn. It's okay. What? Greetings from a bathtub in Cooterville. It's been a tough week. Darling, how are you? I miss you so much, Carla. I don't like it when you have jobs. I'm sorry. I want you to just play with me all day long. Carla, I love you. You're in a bathtub? That's fantastic. Don't drop your computer in the bathtub, please. Thank you very much. Didn't we go through this last month? Yeah, isn't that impossible to have 2 Friday the 13th in a row? Wait a minute. How does that work? Is that really true? Oh my God. Hi, Carla. Don't drop your laptop in the bathwater. That's a song. Don't drop your laptop in the bathwater. Oh, it's that fucking February. It's that fucking February, and they're less extra day. I hit send just as you said that. Well, see, great minds. Aren't you scared, Neil? Are you scared that we think the same about it? Anyway, talk about nightmares. There's one right there. I'm going to tell you, this guy is such an idiot. I cannot express just how embarrassing it is that he would lead anything, because he acts like a bro, like a stupid bro. Like he should be on the PBD broadcast, the Pretty Big Dicks broadcast that we watch once in a very blue moon. I was just watching it. Patrick Bet-David, who's the MLM king. Literally, there's so many stories about him ripping off young people and, creating these multi-level marketing schemes where they go in and they sell insurance to their grandma, and then they have to get 7 agents to sell insurance alongside them. That's literally how Patrick Bet-David made his money. by getting people to give them money to train them to become insurance agents and then make them go out and basically sell everybody that they know and recruit more agents. Yeah, Pabst Blue drivel. It does, actually. I mean, even Pabst Blue would have some level of, like, kind of nostalgia. These guys have nothing. These guys are just basically, they failed upwards. You know what I mean? They failed upwards. So it's like, these guys are just absolute losers. But anyway, pretty big dick podcast. But this is where this guy belongs. He literally belongs in one of those chairs. It's literally, and that would be like even too good for him. You know what I'm saying? All that ridiculous money spent. Was it money laundering through lobster steak and ice cream machines? I mean, this is just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. If I were a member of the military, I would have such a hard time holding my shit together. Hi, Sharon. How are you, darling? I mean, really, I can't even believe it. Tom, Neil, yep, last month also. I can't even believe that. I can't believe it's 2 Friday the 13th in a row. Anyway, so yeah, I would like to, unfortunately, I'd like to watch this again. And here, let me tell you something else. Let me give you a disclaimer. I completely tried to fix my sound yesterday all day, like a lot of hours on trying to fix my sound, and I probably fucked it up beyond repair. So I just want you to know today's going to be a sound adventure, okay? It's going to be a sound adventure. I think he slicks his hair back because he's going bald and is too vain for and really cares about hair. I'm going to tell you, I would probably do the same thing. I'm just going to be honest. The sound foobar. Yeah, so this is going to be a sound fucked up. I don't even know what I did, okay? I pushed so many buttons yesterday, tried so many things that I'm sure nothing's going to play the way it is, and there's probably going to be terrible echoes, but that's okay because we don't care. We're just going to push forward. Like the intrepid souls that we are. Push forward into the audio quagmire. Okay, let me see what's what here. Try this, that. Okay, maybe. Oops, that's right. Problem is. He's like, wait a minute. Don't go out there yet. I have to poop. Okay, go ahead and poop, but hurry it up, Pete. Vodka poop.
Good morning. I'll start, as we often do here at the Department of War, with the bottom line up front. For the world to hear and the press to actually admit that the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective, devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago, the combination of the world's 2 most powerful air forces is
Why do you get to say it's 10 short days ago? It hasn't been short for the families whose sons and daughters, whose children are on the front lines, or, it's not your children. Your children aren't going. It's not short days for them. Yeah, make the press admit. And you know what's interesting about that? Sorry about the echo. You know what's interesting about that is so disrespectful. Just totally disrespectful. Acting like one of like whatever that guy's name, Solovyov or whoever it is over in Russia, who is the propaganda guy who just sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, the Russians, oh, the Americans are." Oh. You know, literally, that's who this guy is. He's just a propaganda person, and he sounds exactly like the fucking propagandists. It's so unserious. Like, I don't need the propaganda, okay? Save it. I don't need it. I need to know what's happening and why you are putting our children in harm's way. And dropping bombs on everyone else's children.
Unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our Air Force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000.
It insults your intelligence. That's what I'm going to say. It insults your intelligence to sit there and talk about, hi, Teresa, to sit there and talk about how, you know, incredibly powerful and strong we are, you know? Okay, here we go. Gal's going to tell us every single hour when your loved one is deployed downrange feels like a month, especially in a combat zone. I know. That's right. That's real. And people are experiencing that right now. And 8 sets of parents that we know of have lost their child forever. Forever. And this guy thinks that propaganda is appropriate right now because that's all he's got. I get it. He doesn't have the ability to have gravitas or to make measured assessments. I mean, he's got us here. So there you go. It's just bullshit. This is so embarrassing.
Enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only 2 things on the side of aircraft: the stars and stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with. We have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan.
The minute a leader says, you don't have to worry about it, isn't that the minute you start worrying about it? Unless you're a chud and you're an idiot and you're like, oh no, he's got this. He's got it. Don't worry about it. He's got it. Yeah, Star of David from Israel, the Israeli bombs, etc. Most Air Force, this is from Gal, most Air Force aviators are officers with extensive training rather, and are around my age or younger. They typically have spouses and families by that, oh my God, I can't even see, by that time in their career. So the aircraft that went down, yeah, exactly, Gal. Exactly. That's it. That's what we should be thinking about right now, is the families whose children are injured, dead, or missing. And I hope we find out more about what's happening. We're going to catch up on all the news this morning, but Somi read President Dumpster Fire is offering donors access. I don't think he is. Okay, Grace Lisa, I saw that by Midas Touch. If I could just address that. So that was a fundraising email sent by Dump that said, hey, if you join at this level, you'll become part of the national security team and you'll get access to information before everybody else does. I think what that is you're just putting yourself on an email list. And he'll send you, his team will send you the same updates that they would send you, but it acts like you're an insider. I don't think he's actually selling national security access. And I saw Midas Touch do that, and I'm going to be honest with you, I thought that was a cheap motherfucking shot to do that Midas Touch. Because you're scaring people into thinking that that's what he's doing, when in fact, it's just a marketing trick. Okay? It's not, it's a newsletter. That's all it is. So it's like, it made me so mad to see that yesterday, Grace Lisa. Yeah, I know. Thank goodness. They're so fucking clickbaity. Oh, and by the way, we're going to watch a little bit of Michael Cohen this morning. Yeah, I know. I'm going to put you through it this morning. Because I'm going to gloat a little bit that when you trust people who have come out of that and said, oh, well, I hate the Trumps. I hate the Trumps. Yeah, anti-Trump. Yeah, see? And then you get a bunch of Midas Touch gives you a big show, 2 podcasts, puts you on every podcast, promotes your book, And at the end of the day, you're still just a motherfucking criminal. You just figured out a new mark. And it's all of us. Because people like him, and I'm sorry, people like Lev, I haven't learned fuck all from Lev over these years. I've learned like a couple things, but not nearly the amount that I should know based on who the fuck Lev is. So, I'm sorry, I'm not going to enrich motherfucking chuds anymore, okay? Unless you're really coming with the goods. Because I don't have time for your bullshit or your books. And you know what people like that do? They use people. That's right. They use people as stepping stones to get where they want to go, and then they say, go fuck yourselves. So, all these reformed MAGA cultists, save it. I never thought you were. I thought you were a criminal who got caught. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you just fucking got caught. Oh my God. I'm sorry, my nose is running. I promise. Anyway, it just pissed me off, it pissed me off. Yeah, I mean, if you have something to tell, if you have a lot to say, same with George Conway. Same with all of them. Go fuck yourselves. Because you were on the wrong side of this until it wasn't convenient for you to be on the wrong side of it, you motherfuckers. That's when you decided it was a problem. Not when people were suffering. Not when lies were being told. Fuck you. Anyway.
And to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers, defeated. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement?
Thank you.
I think you know why. His
Exile
father,
Two
dead.
Feathers, welcome.
He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies. Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines.
I get that he thinks this works. Okay, I understand that he thinks this works for people. I get it, okay? I totally understand. He thinks this works. That's fine. Yeah, blaming the press again. Hi, Exile Two Feathers. Welcome to the show. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the sub. We really appreciate it. No, this is bullshit. It's all, yeah, God, he is such a dick. Exactly, Grace Lisa. And the thing is this is the, okay, I'm just, you know what I do? I always channel like Mark Milley or who's the other guy? Lloyd Austin. I always channel Lloyd Austin, all right, when I'm hearing this. And I'm kind of like, I don't know, am I getting an echo? But it's like, I can't imagine Lloyd Austin standing up at every presser, every single presser, and saying things like, if you guys would just report it better, then everything would be fine. You guys are so stupid. You know, fucking Lloyd Austin would never have done that. He has a job. He wants to brief the American people on what is perhaps one of the most sensitive and hard and heart-wrenching jobs, I think, in the government. Because you've got to tell people what's happening when it comes to people dying. So I feel like Lloyd Austin would never, I mean, maybe he's not, maybe he was a dick. I have no idea. But I always thought he was so measured and so calm and so like, and informative, right? Like there was information. So that's fine. That's what I want. I don't want this. I don't need this. I know he's performing for an audience of one. Okay? He's really happy that Lori Chavez de Remer, the labor secretary, is day drunk all the time. And obviously, because she's going to be the next one to be fired, and he can hang in there just a few more months longer. I do think this war is the end of Pete Hegseth. I think it is. Because who's going to take the blame? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going well. The Strait of Hormuz is not open. And ain't gonna open. Okay? Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The Strait of Hormuz ain't gonna open. This is a complete fucking clusterfuck that they've created. Okay? They've created a complete clusterfuck. Oh, my audio's off? Oh, shoot. Thank you. I've got audio problems this morning. I don't know. Is that any better? I don't know if that is or not. Is that any better? Is that any better? Okay. Let me know. Sorry about that. I know that's so annoying. We're going to fix it. I just need some I need some help. That's all. I need some technical advice on how to set up my router. That's all. Anyway, thank you for that. I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's okay. So whatever I was saying, yeah, it's on, LOL, but it's definitely low. Oh, low? Oh, that actually I might not be able to do much about. Sorry about that. I don't know. There might be something, yeah. But I've got echo problems and stuff like that. Anyways, so anyway, whatever I said, yeah, that. Okay. It'll come back to me. Oops.
Everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted. Or more fake
why
news
is this
from
the issue?
CNN. Reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better.
Okay, wait a minute. A couple things just happened there. First of all, he said David Ellison. It's Larry Ellison. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And then, wait, what did he say right before then? What did he say? Wait, I need to hear it again. I'm sorry. I have very little short-term memory right now.
Decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, that we didn't
This is
think of.
always...
Yeah, okay. This is always what they do. But apparently we didn't think about the Strait of Hormuz because we didn't do anything to report it or reinforce it, right? We didn't figure out a way to get ahead of that. Yeah, and Gal says also CNN doesn't think it happened. No, it was leaked. So someone next to you knows you didn't. Okay? I mean, this is so fucking dumb. You didn't know. You didn't know that you did not do the calculus. And in fact, actually, here's what you did do. Let me tell you what you did do. You did receive a report from your internal intelligence people that help you create battle plans. You did receive a report that said this entire idea was a terrible one and that this would not be a winnable conflict. Okay? That's what you did do. You did have that report in your hand a week before you decided to let Israel force you to go bomb another country. Not that you didn't want to bomb it on your own. Yeah, David Ellison. Yeah, Larry's not going to like that. You know, you did have a plan that told you this was a doomed to fail mission. So there's that. So, you know, save it. Okay? And the guy standing next to you, pig's breath, in case you didn't know, in case you don't read the New York Times, he basically said that he had grave concerns about the ability, bye, sweetheart, grave concerns about the ability of this campaign to even succeed because we didn't have enough munitions. We didn't have enough munitions to make it at this level of conflict. Oh, and the oil prices and the market manipulation that Trump had to do, I guess, in order to try and rein in the market, which, you know, great job, because unfortunately the market's going to do what the market's going to do. I mean, oh boy, like the lack of calculus before this campaign is mind-blowing. Like, I mean, this guy's going to go. Right after Lori Chavez de Remer goes, because she was fucking her security guard and she drank on the job. She had too many White Claws at lunch. This guy's next, because he's going to lose this in a big, fabulous, spectacular way. And they're not going to be able to even ignore it. So
is what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday, war widening. Here's a real headline for you for an actual patriotic press. How about Iran shrinking, going underground? You see, Iran's leaders are hiding in bunkers and moving into civilian areas. The only thing that is widening is our advantage. Not to mention our Gulf partners stepping up even more, now going on the offense, and have always been with us on the defense with collective and integrated air defenses. Our will, it is unshakable. Our options, maximized, and our capabilities still building. We're going up, they're going down. As I said from the start, President Trump holds the cards. He'll determine the pace, the tempo, and the timing of this conflict. His hand firmly on the wheel, as well as on the throttle setting. America first, peace through strength in action. From day one, as our nation expects and the president demands, our warriors have fought with lethality, precision, and rapid innovation. In fact, today will be, yet again, the highest volume of strikes that America has put over the skies of Iran and Tehran. The number of sorties and number of bomber pulses, the highest yet, ramping up and only up. And quantity has a quality of its own as we continue to ramp up. Every tool of AI, of cyber, of space, EW, counter UAS, you name it, we're employing it. Blinding, confusing, and deceiving our enemy. Because we know who the good guys are here. And the American people do too. And that makes my job simple. I serve God, the troops, the country, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, and answer only to those. All in service of victory on the battlefield and the military objectives that we've laid out from day one. Defeat the missiles, missile launchers, and defense industrial base, which I laid out today. Defeat the Navy and deny Iran the ability to have a nuclear weapon. Clear, decisive, achievable. And Admiral Cooper knows, the CENTCOM commander who we spent a couple of hours with last night, that in pursuit of those objectives, we have his back in every way. His commanders know that, and so do the troops in harm's way. Admiral Cooper gets what he needs, the assets, the authorities, the munitions, you name it. We will stop at nothing to win. War is hell.
That's a cute play on.
War is chaos. And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135 tanker, bad things can happen. American heroes, all of them. And as I have with all of them, as we have, we will greet those heroes at Dover, and their sacrifice will only.
Wait, I missed. I went to bed early. Are you telling me that those people were lost? The people on that refueling plane? Is that what you're I didn't realize that. I haven't seen the news this morning. Are we confirming? Oh. Oh my God. 4 of 6 died. Still searching for 2. Thank you, gal. Oh my God. This has got to stop. I don't know what to say. I don't 6 killed. They're confirming. New York Times. 6 killed. All 6 crew members died, it said, bringing the number of U.S. service members killed in the in the war to at least 13. Because I have no confidence that anyone is telling us. Wow, I don't know what to say.
Recommit us to the resolve of this mission. But war in this context and in pursuit of peace is necessary, which is why each day on bended knee we continue to appeal to heaven, to Almighty God's providence, to watch over and give special skill and confidence to our leaders and to our warriors. To those warriors who this nation prays for every single day, I hear from all of you out there who pray for them every day. Stay on bended knee and pray for them. I continue to say to them, Godspeed. May the Lord bless you and keep keep going. Mr. Chairman.
No,
over.
that is, I'm just going to stop him for a minute. Yeah, Exile 2 feathers, it looks like, or 2 feathers, it looks like they didn't, because Gal confirmed they don't have parachutes in the KC-135 anymore. Yeah. Appeal to heaven. Yeah, I heard that. There's that pine tree flag again. Wow. It's just got to stop. I don't This is spiraling. I mean, I understand it already spiraled out of control, but no, this has got to stop. Like, you can't do this. You can't do this. Do you remember when, and I'm not trying to compare situations, but do you remember when there was the incredibly tragic bombing as we tried to leave Afghanistan and 13 people were killed as a part of that? And this man and others use those deaths over and over and over and over and over and over again. And now they stand there and, like a video game, I don't know, I think, Jay Rance, did you say that? Like a fucking video game.
Thank you.
We've got people just dying. Just people that were giving their time. I mean, I can't believe this. I really can't believe that this is where we are. I know it, we knew it would be bad, right? Like, I absolutely knew it would be bad. But everything has been bad. Like, literally everything is bad.
Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. Before I start with it,
this man should be ashamed of himself. And I put him in Nuremberg 2.0 because he will pay the price for the evilness that he has been a party to. He should stop this. He should fucking stop this. He is a disgrace to that uniform. A disgrace.
an update. I also want to address the tragic loss of our KC-135 refueling aircraft yesterday. The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available. Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts in the coming hours and days. Our service members make an incredible sacrifice to go forward and do the things that the nation asks of them. It's a reminder of the true cost of the dedication.
No, not in my name, bitch. Not in my name. I didn't ask for this. Don't you fucking put that on these people. Don't you put that on us. You're the one that made this decision. You're the one that kowtowed to the demons. You're the one who supports a child rapist, not me. And you're not doing this. You're not killing these children and these other people in my name. So go fuck yourself. Yeah. By the way, Iraqi airspace is not safe. Yeah. Every one of those people would be alive today if this man didn't allow this to happen. And yes, I'm going to put it on him that he allowed this to happen. Because he didn't step down and say, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting my soldiers on a murder mission. Oh, they're definitely all corrupt. I'm not saying they're not, but this guy is supposed to have more gravitas just by the nature of his career. He is supposed to take his job of holding the lives of troops in his hands seriously. Because maniacs shouldn't necessarily become the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And maybe they do. I'm not saying they don't. But they're not supposed to. They're actually supposed to stop themselves short of actually sacrificing their own troops. This guy says, yes, and. I'm sorry. I don't have any fucking concern, patience, grace. I'm not giving this motherfucker any grace. Because children are dead. Children don't have parents because of this man and his inability to grow a spine and stand up for what is right. which is the hardest thing to do, but should be the easiest. I mean, I understand that it is not like a typical job, right? You don't work at McDonald's. I mean, that's what, like if you're in the military, you can't just walk away. I totally understand that. But this man already expressed concerns over the viability of this operation and yet didn't do everything in his human power, including resigning, which, yes, he should have done. Because if he resigned and made a big stink about it, we wouldn't be here. Or at least we would have been a little delayed and had time to realize and get the information from him that this regime is absolutely suicidal and homicidal, if you will. I thought maybe he was an adult in the room. I know. Sorry. I wanted to believe that maybe he, through his career, was, But guess what? You broke it, you bought it, bitch. You broke it, you bought it. Yeah.
And commitment of the joint force. We're also aware of a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. We're thinking about the crew there who are injured in the fire. We believe and hope that everyone will be okay, and we're grateful for that. And for any further questions on that, we'd refer you to NavCent or to the Navy. This morning, we enter the 13th day of Operation Epic.
You are the Navy. You are the Navy. You stupid. I know you don't want to answer questions about the fire on the Gerald Ford, which that's news. I know. Yeah, anyway.
Fury, and we continue to make progress towards our military objectives.
I'm not putting this on
As the Secretary said,
people.
today will be our
not.
heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners. They're continuing to destroy the Iranian Navy to ensure freedom of navigation, and this means going after Iran's mine-laying capability and destroying their ability to attack commercial vessels. And we're targeting their defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild the capabilities that can harm America's interests or our partners in the future. As Admiral Cooper said in his update on Wednesday, Iranian combat power continues to decline as a result of the continued strikes, as the Secretary talked about. We've attacked over 6,000 targets, and our strike packages continue to launch every hour, and we've maintained an unprecedented number of sorties up overhead of Iran. CENTCOM is now persistently over the enemy, and a result, we've seen a reduction in missile and one-way attack fires, as the Secretary said. In less than 2 weeks, we've rendered the Iranian Navy combat ineffective and continue to attack naval vessels, including all of their Soleimani-class warships, which were armed with anti-ship missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. We've made progress, but Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces and commercial shipping. And our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the Straits right now, which there is some through the Straits, is Iran. They are the belligerents here holding the Strait.
Yeah, some ships are going through the Strait, and 5 of them got bombed up. So fuck off, okay? Are you going to parrot your boss now and say everybody should just suck it up, Buttercup, and go on through the Strait? I say Mrs. Beasley, who said that nobody should be afraid of sailing through the Hormuz Strait. I think that Mrs. Beasley should crew some of those ships. How about that? How about that? Mrs. Beasley? You could stand to lose a few pounds. I saw.
closed, although there is some traffic moving through there. We've made it a priority to target Iran's mine-laying enterprise, their mine layers, the naval bases and depots, in addition to the missiles that could influence the straits. And CENTCOM continues to attack those efforts. And we continue to make progress on the industrial base to include factories, weapons warehouses that are stored in, and we will continue to do so in the coming days, especially today. Now, as I often do, I want to share a little bit about our incredible joint force. Today, I'm going to talk about our incredible artillery force comprised of American soldiers and Marines who've been sinking ships, destroying depots, and launching Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, precision strike missiles, or PrSMs, and high-mobility rocket systems, or HIMARS. From outside Iran, our Army and Marine artillerymen are hitting sites that Iran relies on to project power beyond their borders and protect our deployed. In just the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems. Yesterday, I had the incredible honor and privilege of speaking with some of our young soldiers from the 3rd Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the unit and the crew that fired the first precision strike missiles. The soldiers I met came from all over this great country: New York, Texas, Delaware, California. One had been in the Army only 6 months and been in the unit for 2 months and was already deployed. He was the youngest at 20, but you would not know it from the way that they talked about their mission. The others were 22 and 28 years old. They spoke with the sense of calm pride, purpose, and clarity that tells you clearly they understand the weight of what they're doing and the people who depend on them. I asked them to walk me through a fire mission. I asked not just what they do, but what they feel, especially those first crew members on this particular mission. These soldiers basically live in these vehicles behind us. The cab, very tight, 2 folks sit next to each other with the crew commander behind them. It's jammed inside there with their personal weapons and kit, and they sit and wait for a fire mission. And when that fire mission comes, they close the armored doors and begin to program the systems. They then throw 3 simple toggle switches, and 10 to 15 feet behind them, a rocket motor ignites, and the round is headed downrange to do the nation's work. I asked these youngsters, these young, awesome Americans, what does that feel like? And one of them just looked at me and said, "It's awesome." No drama, no hesitation, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, in the sun, the rain, in the snow, flawless execution. Their Marine counterparts are out there doing the same thing every night. Same work, same pressure, same expectations, same results. And we hand tremendous and enormous responsibility to these young Americans, and they carry it with a level of maturity, grit, professionalism, and tenacity that makes me incredibly proud to be a part of their joint force. Their parents and families would and should be incredibly proud, and their leaders and I trust them to do the deeds that they must do in difficult circumstances every single time. I also want to touch today I want to touch for a moment today on their leadership. These young Americans are led by extraordinary young leaders out at the tactical edge. Yesterday, the battery commander and her NCO were there with this crew on the same video screen. The 2 of them hardly said a word. They didn't have to. In their eyes, and in particular the commander's eyes, you could see the quiet trust and confidence she had in these soldiers and the rest of their battery. It came through loud and clear, and we appreciate their leadership. When I asked these soldiers yesterday, what is it that you need from the secretary and I, they looked at each other, paused for a moment, and looked back at me and said, "More rounds, sir." It was awesome. So thank you to those soldiers and Marines out on the firing line supporting our mission, and thank you to their families. Our joint force will continue today to deliver dynamic fires against the enemy from the land, sea, and air. We remain deeply grateful for their service. And for the third time today, I'll mention that today will be our busiest day. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult, and every service member has a family waiting for them to return home. And I want to thank all of the families today who are supporting their deployed forces and those doing the work here in the States. On a personal note today, I also want to thank the Joint Staff and the team that I have the pleasure of working with, some of them right here in this room. They are working 24 hours a day to deliver the options that we must to the Secretary and to the President. Today, as I close, I ask that we remember our fallen and those participating in the recovery operations to bring home our lost KC-135 crew, that we keep those service members and their families in their thoughts and prayers. Those are very, very, very tough days when that knock comes on the door for people on both sides of the door. Again, thank you to our deployed, thank you to our fallen, and to their families, and to the Joint Force. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Strait of Hormuz and when it might be fully operational again? And how do we ensure our objective of denying Iran a nuclear weapon if they continue to align with our adversaries?
So I'll take it and chime in, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like it all. I want to emphasize what the chairman said about that. The only thing prohibiting transit in the Straits right now is Iran shooting at shipping. It is open for transit should Iran not do that. Now, there's a reason why we chose as one of our primary objectives destroy the Navy. We understood the ability to interdict shipping is something Iran has done for 40 years. It's key terrain. They've used it as leverage. The world is seeing what they'll do to fight back in that context. And so we've heard them talk about taking various measures, and we're planning for all of them. So we have a plan for every option here. We're working with our interagency partners, and that's not a strait we're going to allow to remain contested or with a lack of flow of commercial goods. So we're aware of that. We're laser focused on our military objectives, but also want to make sure our partners across this government understand we're working with you to make sure that energy flows. And that's an important part. And the second question was on the nuclear capability. As we've said from the beginning, their strategy shifted just from defense of their nuclear facilities to a conventional umbrella of so many missiles that no one would challenge their ability to the opportunity to defeat their nuclear capabilities. And it was growing by the day. So with Iran at its weakest moment, going at that ballistic missile capability creates an opportunity to ensure at any point in time that Iran give up their nuclear capabilities, or if need be, you prevent them from doing it, as the president has done once already with Operation Midnight Hammer, obliterating those capabilities. So the conventional side is a huge part at getting at denying nuclear capabilities, if you have anything you want to add.
Appreciate the question. I'm not going to comment on what we may or may not be thinking about any options that the Joint Force could be tasked to do in the future, whether it's on the nuke matter or anything else. Thank you.
But we have options.
The mines that are in the Strait of Hormuz and our ability to, obliterate them?
We retain a range of options to solve a whole variety of problems, and that is one set of options that we have, that we hold on to. So,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I'm Mary Margaret with Daily Wire. Thank you both for the update. ABC News has updated its story from yesterday, clarifying that the FBI report on Iran possibly striking California was unverified. I just want to ask you, what impact did that original reporting have on the public, and does Iran even have the ability to conduct such a strike? And then just really quickly on another note, what role did Vice President Vance play in counseling the president on this conflict? Can you speak to some of the media reporting suggesting that there is a division there?
That reporting on California obviously had no impact on us. Also, we're used to bad reporting. We're used to ill-informed reporting. And so it doesn't change how we operate, but we engage with it to prove that it's not true, as CENTCOM has done so well. Ultimately, I look at the reports on a daily basis of our interagencies all over it. My partners across government are all over looking for indications and warnings, keeping the American people safe. There's a lot of things Iran has said it can do for a long time, thankfully, including engaging their proxies and getting them involved in the fight, which they haven't been able to do. So we're watching that very closely. And as far as
so what he's saying here is that that was bad reporting, but that came from, I thought, the FBI. Now, I know, as a Californian, first of all, we were already shot at by this regime in October of 2025 when shrapnel fell on the fucking vice president's motorcade of all people. Okay? So if anybody's been shot at already, it's us by this regime. Number one. Number two, we all know that that was just a boondoggle to get everybody whipped up and, like, you know, play your little mind games and maybe, you know, shut down elections or whatever it is you ultimately want to do with this. Yeah, you know what? You should be really careful in large groups. Yep, you should be real careful in large groups. Yeah, actually, exactly, Exile Two Feathers. We get shot in the face by our own government. So, yeah, okay, there'll be other little, you know, they can call anything they want, like a, you know, a black swan or a whatever, red herring or a, you know, sleeper cell and all that kind of stuff. All sleeper cell means is that people are, you know, kind of upset and may act on it, right? Yeah, with no kings coming up. Of course, this is all designed, and I get it, and people should be cautious, right? You should think about large groups and things like that. But that's something normally that you know, in this day and age is it was the dumbest move ever to say, "Oh, California is going to get droned." You know, I mean maybe, but what am I going to do about it? What am I supposed to do about it? Do I need an anti-drone missile defense system? Can I get that on Amazon? Because I don't know what you expect me in Los Angeles to do about a drone coming and hitting, you know, Hollywood Boulevard. I just don't know what you want me to do about it. So this is like, fuck. I mean, you can tell us those things, but what the fuck? So no, I'm not going to fall for this bullshit war porn, scare porn bullshit. You know, you have an unjustified military action that you've taken. You're killing people. You're encouraging others to kill people. You're putting our people at risk. You're the drama. You're the one that's doing it, not us. Hell, the Iranians were just sitting there doing their thing. Oh, is it the platform? What's happening, Dan? I don't know what's happening. Yeah, here's a good report from our friends at Resistance Sentinel about domestic threats. Good, we're going to tee that up. Anyway, sorry.
As far as the vice president, he's an incredible member, leader of this team as well, alongside the president and the Secretary of State. I can't say enough great stuff about this team, how it works together, how it provides options to the president and the vice president every single day is a key voice in that, an indispensable voice in that, actually. In the middle there, red tie. Yes.
Michael Gordon, Wall Street Journal. Iran is thought to have 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium in at least 2 locations and several thousand kilograms of lower purity material. Can you conclude this mission successfully without physically taking control of that material, or are you counting on diplomatic negotiations to provide some measure of control leading to its removal? You've mentioned missiles, you've mentioned drones, military industry. You haven't stipulated that taking care of that material is a mission priority.
We've said from the beginning, deny Iran nuclear weapons as a core mission. We retain options across the spectrum to ensure that they never do. And President Trump has said that. And that's why this mission actually couldn't have been possible without Midnight Hammer, without what those B-2s did going across and obliterating those facilities. That set the condition for the opportunity to do what we're doing now. So the president's kept his eye focused on nuclear capabilities. And I will say,
I can't get through these things. I'm so sorry. I question Stephanie, what is the exit strategy and how fast can we do it? What's really insulting to me is he thinks we're so stupid that what he says will actually make a difference and influence. Now, I understand, again, he's talking to an audience of one and helping the base make sense of what they didn't vote for. Because they didn't, some of those chuds, they didn't vote for war. They certainly didn't vote for a war fought on behalf of another country. Okay? So they're smart enough to know that. But they also are just going to do anything they can. First of all, they know he raped children. They know this. I spent very much time yesterday with some chuds trying to show them documents. To no avail, by the way. But they don't want to believe it. So they will pretzel themselves to support this regime in true authoritarian fashion. Just like fucking clockwork. Like they read the recipe and went, oh, this is what we do now. So anyway, but I'm just so insulted by the fact that this man thinks we are so fucking stupid and that we will just soak up what he says.
We have a range of options, up to and including Iran deciding that they will give those up, which of course we would welcome. They weren't willing to do in negotiations. I would never tell this group or the world what we're willing to do or how far we're willing to go, but we have options for sure. Right next to him.
Me?
No, right there.
Right here, sir? Right here? I'll take it for
Quarter
sure.
zip right there. Yep. No, you. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Can you please provide some guidance? It's been 13 days in. Can you please provide some guidance, both of you, about the strike on the girls' school? There's been reporting that indicates that preliminary inquiry, even though it's ongoing, has determined that the airstrike was carried out by the United States. Given that there is another competing narrative that this was done intentionally, can you provide us with some guidance about whether this was the case? Secondly, we are also getting, we had heard yesterday from Energy Secretary Wright that said that the U.S. Navy would not be ready until the end of the month to provide escorts through the Strait of Hormuz. Is that an accurate assessment? And if so, can you tell us why? Thank you.
Chris,
well, with an issue on your first topic, an issue of such seriousness, we're not going to let reporting lead us or force our hand into indicating what happened in a particular situation, because the truth matters. So I can report that CENTCOM has designated an investigating officer to complete a command investigation. The command investigation will take as long as necessary to address all the matters surrounding this incident. And the investigating officer is from outside CENTCOM and is a general officer. But I will note to this group and to the world, there's only one entity in this conflict between us and Iran that never targets civilians. Literally never targets civilians. I look at the process that's used on dynamic strikes or on boat strikes and others. We have a very high fidelity process in that case. So we don't target. Iran does. We will investigate. We'll get to the truth and we'll share it when we have it. Absolutely. And what was the second
question? About the
question?
Strait of Hormuz, about the Navy. Secretary Wright.
It's a tactically complex environment, and before I think we want to take anything through there at scale, we want to make sure that we do the work pursuant to our current military objectives to do that safely and smartly. So we're continuing to develop.
And we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is it is dynamic, but this is, I think, almost by 20% the largest day of strikes. And as I said, our intelligence just gets better and better. That feedback loop feeds itself. And as we refine those targets, it exponentially increases what we can hit and why, to include strategic things the world's talking about and looking at. And it's our job to have a plan for it, which we do, to address it and ensure that the president has options. We've done that from the beginning in this department. He'll have options on that topic as well. Right here.
United States,
thank you.
That strike, sir.
An investigation is an investigation. That's what it is. It doesn't mean anything other than that. Yes.
Ryan Morgan with the Epic Times. Regarding today's busy day of strikes, last week you guys discussed the progress of the air campaign to gain air superiority and to transition from these standoff weapons launched at range to more overhead strikes. Can you now say that these strikes today are going to rely entirely on stand-in over-the-top weapons, or are standoff range weapons still in play?
It's a great question. I can say based on the report I read this morning at 0600, only 1% of the munitions we're using today are standoff munitions. The rest are over the top, the types of which we have a plethora. Which was our goal from the beginning. You use standoff, which are more exquisite. You transition to a much larger magazine depth, ensuring that you're preserving all the capabilities you have and your options across the force. Absolutely.
Has Iran placed any mines
Right
since
here.
the war
Lisa.
started? Is Iran placing new mines?
We've heard them talk about it, just like you've reported recklessly and wildly about it. But we have no clear evidence. We have no clear evidence of that.
Thank you,
Right
sir.
here.
Mr. Secretary, given everything the U.S. have accomplished in the last 24 hours, as of today, how do you define success in this military option? And has that definition changed from day one? And also regarding Iran government telling countries hosting U.S. American bases that they could face attacks, what is the Pentagon doing about that?
First question is, what is the objective?
How do you define success as of today?
Yeah, I mean, we define success, again, 13 days in, by reaching the military objectives that we've laid out. Launchers, missile launchers, defense industrial base, their Navy, the ability to project power in the naval sense.
Are you really? 'Cause
leading toward denying.
You know what? He's been at like 90% of the Iran military apparatus destroyed for like 13 days. Or for like 12 days. Right? Like he's been on that. He's been that everything was destroyed like for the last 12 days. Basically. Virtually. Come on now. Stop this. And what about Russia? What is Russia providing? And why did we lift sanctions on the Russian oil that was going to go into ports, those last shipments? Why did we decide to just lift sanctions on supposedly oil that was already on the tankers in the water? Well, okay, who's going to verify that? Who's going to verify that the only oil they sell is going to be the fucking shit that was already in the ocean on its way to the illegal ports? You know? What the hell? They really think we're stupid. They really think we're stupid. Jesus.
Them to get a nuclear
God,
weapon. And we've got
this is
internal
so
metrics that look at
dumb.
that we represent to the president, who then can decide how long he'd like to continue in pursuit of those military objectives. So that hasn't changed. There's a lot of things a lot of people talk about, what they want us to do or what we should do or what we should stay focused on. And again, I've addressed this before, and I think it's worth saying again, mission creep or expansive missions or prolonged timelines or democracy building or nation building, you name it, has not been part of what President Trump wants us to be involved in. We're solving for something here, this particular mission set, but also recognizing this country's conditioned to previous leaders, whether it's George W. Bush or Barack Obama or Joe Biden, who had these expansive, nebulous mission sets that kept changing all the time. So the timeline kept moving and we kept pouring more troops in. And
No, we didn't. I mean, are you talking about like Afghanistan? And what? What is he talking about? Is he talking about our relationship with Iran? Or just Afghanistan? What the fuck? Mission creep? Yeah, would that be the girls' school? Is that mission creep? Would that be the 13 young people who are dead now? Is that mission creep? Yeah, it's all made up.
On the ground, and then pretty soon everyone wonders, like I did in Afghanistan in 2012, what's our mission here? I'm not clear what it is.
Okay, so you just admitted that during the middle of your deployment, that's when you questioned your mission? Do you want to tell us more about that? How in the world did you let yourself get deployed and then you sought clarity on the mission? Excuse me? Wow, man, you are so fucking dumb.
We're taking the opposite approach here and saying we've defined these objectives. We're pursuing those objectives. The president has his hand on the throttle and will decide ultimately when they've been reached that serve the purposes of the United States of America, American interests first.
And regarding the threats to countries hosting
Yeah, right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. Polls show over 80% of Republicans support the president's military action in Iran, but there's some consternation in parts of the party, particularly from your fellow Fox News alum, Tucker Carlson. He called the war disgusting and evil, and then said of unconditional surrender, which the president has called for, means foreign troops get to rape your wives and daughters. Have you heard these comments, and what's your reaction to them?
We're busy executing on behalf of great patriotic Americans with a clear mission that's 47 years overdue. And we're going to execute on that regardless of what people say about it. Yeah, right here.
Mr. Secretary, you have said that the U.S. military has essentially aerial superiority, naval superiority over Iran, yet we're not escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Why? How did you not plan for this?
We planned for it. We recognize it. Because ultimately we want to do it sequentially in a way that makes the most sense for what we want to achieve and ensure that we're sending the right signals to the world when we do so. So when Chris Wright speaks or we speak, it's based on a full assessment of what we're up against, what we want to say to the world, how that we want them to see and understand the conflict. It's like this whole idea of the war widening. That's what the press wants to make it look like it's widening and chaos is ensuing. No, we're actually closing in on grabbing hold of and controlling what objectives we want to achieve and how we want to achieve them. It's called shaping operations and setting the conditions. But when you shape the environment, you don't always tell. I mean, foolish political leaders and foolish military leaders of the past will hang an exact deadline on it. Or here's exactly when we'll do what we're going to do. Or here's how long it's going to take us. And then if you meet that, maybe you meet it. But if you don't, you fail. And if you're far beyond, we know exactly what we're shaping and why. We're sending those signals working across the interagency. The Strait of Hormuz is something we've paid attention to from the beginning. And the American people can rest assured we will ensure that our interests are advanced, no doubt. Yeah, right there, green jacket.
Mike Bress with the Washington Examiner. How many American casualties have there been, and where were the American service members when they were injured?
I mean, it's a bunch of return to duty. So we've had the large majority have gone in for some medical treatment and return to duty. We've had in Kuwait, Jordan, down across the southern flank a little bit, a variety of places, most from one-way attack strikes.
But I want to clarify that. I think what we've tried to do here is clarify those numbers rather than saying KIA or WIA wounded. Be more clear about that because the overwhelming majority, almost 90%, thank God, are returned to duty. Minor injuries returned to duty, and so that number can look a certain way, and our job is to add some fidelity to it. Absolutely, right here.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. David Zia, Real America's Voice. Can you share what types of munitions have been used on the attacks on commercial shipping? Have any hit mines? And are USVs, unmanned surface vehicles, being used? And just a quick follow-up, were there any arrests in Fort Campbell with the drone thefts?
I'm not familiar with the Fort Campbell thing. The strikes that Iran has taken on shipping up north in the vicinity of Kuwait have been, I believe, from surface-to-surface missiles up there. We've not seen any USV activity out of Iran that we've seen in the Gulf at this point.
Nor have any ships hit mines or anything.
Yeah, there's
like
been
that.
no
It's still flowing through the
There's
strait.
been no strikes.
One more time, right here.
Thank you so much. Heather Mullins, Lindell TV. My first question is, President Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping in a couple weeks. How much support, if any, has China been given the Iranian regime? And then the second question, I know President Trump calling for an unconditional surrender from Iran. Given that the U.S. is working in partnership with Israel on this whole operation, is Iran expected to meet demands of both countries or just the U.S., and what are those demands?
Well, we're proud to partner with the incredible capabilities the Israelis have, but our objectives are our objectives. And so when those are met, as we meet those, we'll set the tempo of when those are met. What was the first question?
He's meeting with Xi Jinping.
Oh,
in a
yeah.
couple
The president
weeks.
has a historic relationship with President Xi. They look forward to having a dynamic conversation. Two powers. President Trump ultimately has established terms of that relationship, which advance the United States of America, and that meeting will continue to ensure we advance that. That's all I've got. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, he's got to go. That vodka did kick in, and it's time to poop. Well, the gin. I gave him gin because this is the cheapest alcohol I could find. So I thought I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna give it to my boy. My boy. Wow. I don't know. Wow. I gotta get the gin off the screen. Hold on just a minute. I gotta find it. Come on, get out of here, duck. just like your father. Well, that was terrible. Okay, yeah, that was horrid. Mm-hmm. Yep, sure was. But that's where we're at now. Yeah, there was literally no legitimate media in that room. This is your Pentagon curated press corps. Literally, remember? He approves which press get into the yeah, I know. Thank you so much. We do other things too, Exile Two Feathers, although it's usually vomit inducing, so no offense taken. Yeah, they just but they're actually, I mean, I'm you know how I feel about disinformation, but I will say there were some decent framing of questions there, not totally, but well, it could have been worse. Let's put it that way, okay? The questions could have been, what's the favorite color of the, 33rd Battalion, or something like that. It could have been really dumb questions, but so at least that. But literally, these people handpicked the press outlets that would be in the Pentagon press briefings, and you heard it. It is, well, I don't know if Gateway Pundit was there, but they might as well have been. Epic Times, Washington Examiner, Lindell TV, OAN, Real America's Voice. I mean, Jesus motherfucking Christ. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what Gal has shared with us. The madness of King Trump. Wow. This is from the Cato. Boy, those crazy leftists at the Cato Institute. Yeah, and Corinne. Well, Corinne isn't in the Pentagon, I don't think. Although she's even in the White House. Corinne doesn't actually ask any questions. I don't know how can you keep your credentials if you never ask a question? I don't get that. Who's she reporting for? I don't even know. Is it happened now or something happened yesterday or happened tomorrow? Yeah. Hey, Pete, what's your favorite missile? If you have a favorite thing, what do you think of TACMs? What do you think of those? Yeah. So, Boone's Farm may cause blindness. Changing. God willing. Okay, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to read today. So I am going to start with the Cato Institute because that sounds really interesting. Oh, those radical leftists at the Cato Institute. God, go figure. No, they're not. They're libertarians. They're not radical leftists, believe me. Oh my God, this thing always fucks me up. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, sorry. 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 There we go. Okay. Just trying to make this a little bigger. Scoobily-doo, scoobily-doo. Fuck this. Oh no. Oh, man, Gal, I hate it when you say that stuff. Wait, in case of emergency, the doobie... Oh, I love Anna Bauer. Okay, we'll read this first. But now you're going to make me sad, like it's going to be bad news. Bad news, baby, bad news. It's bad news, my baby, bad news. All right, let's see what we've got here. Let's see what we've got here. Baby, man, because mommy can't see, so she's gotta make it big. Okay, this is from Lawfare, beautiful blog by our friends at Lawfare, I guess. In case of emergency, the dubious legality of Trump allies draft EO. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Stephen Miller ought to take Whiskey Pete aside and tell him to embrace his baldness. His toupee is looking a little shabby. We think he just slicks it back. We think he just slicks it way back. Slumpo told G7 leaders in a virtual meeting Wednesday that Iran is about to surrender. Really? Hi, Carrie. How are you, darling? Yeah, really? Really? Yeah, how was the lobster tail? That's what they should have asked. What about those standing fruit baskets? What the hell is a standing fruit basket? No. People in the lounge want to know. All right, let's read this from our friends at Lawfare. I mean, they're not my friends, but I wish they were. Anyway, this is from yesterday. Thank you, Gal, for sharing. Conservative activists say that declaring a national emergency would allow Dump to assert sweeping authority over elections. They're wrong. Boop, boop, boopity, boop, boop, boop. President Dump has invoked the words national security as a justification for all manner of dubious policy moves over the past year. He declared his tariffs had given us, quote, the strongest national security we've ever had. Thank you, Mr. Tariff. His Interior Department insisted that terminating offshore wind projects addresses emerging national security risks, including the rapid evolution of the relevant adversary technologies. His Justice Department even justified the ongoing construction of his $400 million White House ballroom by calling the project imperative for national security, and warning that halting construction would imperil the president and others who live and work in the White House. What? He has also gone so far as to declare national emergencies to pursue his agenda on trade, immigration, and the environment, and more. So when Dump responded to the struggle over the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, Save America Act, which isn't going to save anybody, it's actually going to kill a lot of people anyway. Yeah, look it up. We'll read about it. In Congress, with the ominous warning, I have searched the depths of legal arguments not yet articulated or vetted on this subject and will be presenting an irrefutable one in the very near future. Promising minutes later to present said legal argument in the form of an executive order. It was easy enough to guess in what direction his stratagems tended. Late last month, the Washington Post published a story that seemed to elucidate this matter. Activists who say they're in coordination with the White House are circulating a draft executive order. That's right, Mike Flynn, loser. Fucko. Flynn always chickens out. Activists who say, okay, wait, blah, 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 blah. That claims Chinese interference in the 2020 election in order to, yes, declare a national emergency that would purportedly empower the president to exercise unprecedented power over voting. When asked about the effort by press poll reporters, Trump responded, "Who told you that?" He proceeded to deny any involvement. In reality, the order the Post reported on has been circulating since at least April, and the ragtag gang of activists... Ragtag? Okay, don't discount that ragtag group, because that's why this motherfucking is in power. Okay, this part really bothers me with normal media who don't understand who the players are and who think that Mike Flynn, Patrick Byrne are just a bunch of jokes. Well, those jokes are part of why we're here. Okay? Steve Bannon, all those people, that's part of why we're here. So you can discount them all you want as ragtag. They're why we're here. Really pisses me off. Update from Carrie on her daughter. Daughter still can't get to the UK. Might have to go to US instead. She can come to Los Angeles. I'll take care of her. Don't worry. I'll keep her safe. Tell her she can come here. I'll pick her up at the airport in my dinosaur outfit. So, yeah. Carrie, tell her. Seriously, I'm serious. Like, if you need me to help her if she gets to LA, I will help her. So just let me know. I'm not kidding about that. And I will show up to LAX in a dinosaur costume because I've done it multiple times. Okay? And they let me do it. I'm serious, Carrie. We got you. You've got family here in Los Angeles, okay? Seriously. Take care of your baby. Oh, take care of your baby. It's true. It's true. Gal has witnessed a dino at an airport. Not going to say which one. I'm just saying. Have dino will travel. Yes, I love democracy. Dino likes to make public appearances. She's very, very much like that. She's very giver. She's a giver. She's a real giver. So, yeah. So don't discount this fucking group of people, okay? Don't fucking discount this group of people. There's a lot of people in this room who have spent a ton of time researching who these motherfuckers are. And they're why we're here. Steve Bannon, the father of disinformation. Mike Flynn, the father of mind fucking. using said disinformation. You need one of the Portland frogs? Yeah. Oh, really? Well, you know what? You're in the room with Democracy Dino, and I was one of the first inflatables out on the street. Yeah, I don't want to brag or anything, but yeah, the frogs might have gotten the idea from Democracy Dino, but I don't know. I mean, that might be too much. That's right, Teresa. Democracy Dino to the rescue. Just kidding. I know. I'm a little too braggy about that. I need to not be so braggy about it. I'm sorry. I didn't start a trend. Actually, you know who I think started it? I was out there early, but you know who I think really started the trend? I had already been wearing the dinosaur, but it didn't matter because nobody knew I was wearing the dinosaur. But when Pikachu in Turkey or wherever they was running from the government, I think the Pikachu thing really started the people thinking about it. No, not Robbie Roadstreamer. No, he's not. Fuck him. No, I'm just kidding. I like Robbie Roadstreamer, but no, he didn't start. No, he didn't start it. Because it was an inflatable. He just wears the giraffe costume. I don't know why I know so much about people in their costumes. I apologize. I was on national TV. I was on Joe Rogan. Just saying. Okay, enough of my pathetic dinosaur costume is not really. I can't really flex it that bad. I would love to, but no, the Portland frogs, amazing. I am so delighted to see more and more inflatables out there. I love it. I love it. So, I say more costumes, more mocking of this fascist regime. Yeah. Did I wash it? I didn't know I would. Well, yeah, you can see it. I basically yelled at the guy that was interviewing me. So I don't know. It is what it is. Let's see. When asked by the ragtag. Okay, here we go. The ragtag gang of activists behind it may be treating the stalling out of the Save America Act, legislation that would tighten restrictions on voter registration and identification, as an opportune moment to try to get some traction with the White House. The 17-page document they appear to be referring to reads as too far-fetched for even this president's pen. This is hilarious, right? Like, this is hilarious. I can't even believe it. Like, they don't think that he's going to sign that? You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. The Wall Street Journal was the only mainstream media there. Oh, okay. Thanks, Neil. Did they ask a question? I didn't even hear them ask a question. Let's see. The 17-page document they appear to be referring to reads as too far-fetched for even this president's pen. One of the activists, Peter Tickton, told us last week that he had sent the draft order to the president via email, but that Trump is a little busy right now with the war in Iran. These people, it's worth noting, are largely fringe actors peddling not only discredited narratives, but also laughable legal theories. Just because they claim those closer to power are interested in their ideas doesn't mean anyone with real authority will actually act on them. I'm having a really hard time doing this. But the reason to pay attention to their plans isn't that the president can be expected to sign off on their agenda as written. It's that bits and pieces of their scheme could work their way into policy, just as in some instances they already have. Oh my God. Whether or not Trump is considering the precise recommendations the Post describes or the recent story is only the latest indication that he and the people around him view the declaration of a national emergency related to national security as a possible way to exert more control over elections. And while the contours of such a ploy remain unclear, there's enough information available today to get a sense of what authorities in the White House might invoke to try and pull it off. Oh, really? Do you think? Because have you read all of the other memos that came before this memo? You stupid cunts. Come on. Are you kidding me? You don't have enough information based on this one memo? What about all the memos written previously? I love you, Anna Bauer, but this is bullshit. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm just a little sensitive about this. Okay? One thing is for sure, whatever legal argument or plain old legal argument Trump may plan to present, it will be far from irrefutable. Yeah, totally. The origin story of the proposed order is murky, but it appears to trace back to a network of pro-Trump activists who have spent years pushing conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. One of them is Tickton, a Florida lawyer who has known Trump since the two attended the New York Military Academy as teenagers. Tickton represented his former classmate in a 2022 civil suit accusing Hillary Clinton and others of conspiring to smear Trump with claims that his 2016 campaign colluded with Russia. A federal judge later dismissed the suit and sanctioned Dump's attorneys, including Tickton, finding that the suit amounted to the deliberate use of the judicial system to pursue a political agenda. Tickton currently represents Tina Peters. That's where I know the name. The former Colorado elections clerk who was sentenced to 9 years in prison and still sits in that prison today for her role in a 2021 breach of her office's voting machines. God damn. In an interview, Tickton told us that he wrote what he described as a precursor to the 17-page draft executive order that has been circulating since April of last year. I'm not sure exactly who prepared this one. Okay, do you know who paid? Okay, can I stop here? Because didn't Patrick Byrne fund Tina Peters' defense? Am I wrong about this? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could have made it up in my head. But I think that didn't Patrick Byrne fund Tina Peters' defense? I'm pretty sure that was proven. I might have been wrong, but anyway, I might be wrong, and I'm going to check it. But, okay, so Peter Tickton works for the people who wrote the memo, okay? Peter Tickton works for the people who wrote the fucking memo. So he knows exactly who has these, where these ideas came from. Okay. I'm not sure exactly who prepared this one. Wait a minute.
I'm not sure who exactly prepared this one. But I believe the April 12th version of the draft order is really, really well done. Well done enough that I sent it in an email to the president. Yeah, I did. I said, Don, because I can call him Don because we went to school together and I have secrets about him. So I said, Don, I'm going to be sending you an email and I want you to read it. And I think that you should read it and consider doing some of these things. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Okay. Let's see. Tickton said his outreach to government officials about the draft executive order also extended to Kurt Olson, the lead bad lawyer in the 2020 election kerfuffles. In fact, he is like ground zero for bullshit in the 2020 election, Mr. Olson, who defended Carrie Lake and lost multiple times, who defended Mike Lindell and lost multiple times. The White House director, oh my God, Kurt Olson. I can't even say these words. The White House director of election security and integrity. Oh my God. I just don't want to be here anymore. Olson, an attorney. Oh, yeah, that's right. He also represented Texas in its unsuccessful post-2020 suit to overturn Trump's loss. He's basically like the big lie lawyer. I know, Chesbro, Eastman, all of those guys, Clark, I get it. They're right. But I'm going to tell you, Kurt Olson is the dark horse. He's the one who no one ever really had him on the radar. I mean, we did, but not in the same way that Eastman was on the radar, etc. But Kurt Olson is a bad motherfucker. I actually need to put him in Nuremberg. Oh, I need to do that. I need to put him in Nuremberg. Okay, I've got a picture of him. Don't worry. He was later sanctioned. Yeah. by a federal judge for advancing false, misleading, and unsupported factual assertions in Carrie Lake's failed bid to challenge her 22 gubernatorial loss, which we watched those. We watched those cases, and it was terrible. Oh, he also represented fucking John Eastman in his disbarment hearing in California. That's right. Oh my God, Kurt, you're everywhere like a bad motherfucking penny. He was later sanctioned by federal judges for advancing false, misleading, and unsupported factual assertions in Carrie Lake's failed bid to challenge her 22 gubernatorial loss in Arizona. Now, as a White House official, Olson has reportedly been tasked with leading a probe to re-examine the 2020 race. Last month, an unsealed FBI search warrant affidavit revealed that a criminal inquiry into election irregularities in Fulton County began with a referral from Kurt Olson. So these ragtag people that you're discounting, Anna, are the ones who are in power now. Kurt Olson was at the center of the 2020 bullshit. So they won, Anna. These ragtag motherfuckers that you're discounting, they won. I'm going to need people to really appreciate the OSINT that uncovered the networks. I have this idea, Gal and Gal Squad. I have an idea of a show I'd like to do that I'll send you in Signal. I have some ideas that I'd like to get. I want to do a who's who. I really want to do a who's who. I want to make sure that names that people need to know, like Kurt Olson's, like I don't know, name your guy. I would like to document the names of people that you all in the Gal Squad have identified as part of this larger scheme that don't get the names, right? That don't get who these people are, because they're all turning up again, right? Greg Phillips is right there standing behind Crispy Gnome, fucking with elections, right? I know. It's not that we need another task to do, and I can probably curate it from all the stuff that we've done, but it would really be nice to have like a string map of here's so-and-so, and he goes to, I mean, Jazika probably has it, but anyway, I don't know. I just feel like, the who's who of fuckers. Okay. According to Tickton, others involved with the effort surrounding the draft order include Archangel Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor who twice pled guilty to lying to the FBI before receiving a sweeping pardon from Dump in December 2020. Oh, and who walked away from a 3-year lawsuit trying to prove that Jim Stewartson was defaming him, when in fact he knew all along that he wasn't defaming him, and so bitch went ahead and walked away because he knew he couldn't win, because he is a traitor and he is Q. So Jim Stewartson, you were right about everything. Let's see. And, here we go. Patrick Byrne. Patrick Byrne, after reading, the former Overstock.com CEO and honeypot target. That's right. And prominent election skeptic. Oh, is that what we're calling it now? Huh? A skeptic? Oh, really? Not someone who's just trying to fuck with everything? Oh, Stephanie Lambert. Remember her? We were going to watch her trial from Michigan, but you know what? We haven't seen it. What have we've been waiting for like 4 years for that. Yeah, 4. Yeah. Over allegations that she illegally accessed voting tabulators in an attempt to prove that 2020 election was stolen. Both Flynn and Byrne have repeatedly and publicly advocated for Trump to declare a national emergency ahead of the upcoming election. Authorship of the April 12th draft is difficult to pin down, but several figures connected to the election denial movement say they had a hand in shaping it. Are you kidding me? A key figure is Juan Savin. I can't stand that guy. The nom de plume of Wayne Willett, a private investigator turned QAnon influencer who has cultivated a significant following in far-right conspiracy circles. Savin is perhaps the best known among QAnon followers as the subject of a theory that he is actually... No, that's not the one. No, Juan 07 is not the one they think is John F. Kennedy Jr. That's Fusco. That's not even the right person. They don't think Juan 07 is fucking... Oh my fucking God. Okay. Who died in a plane crash, living under an assumed identity. Beyond his QAnon celebrity, Savin has formed notable political connections. In 2021, he co-founded America First Secretary of State Coalition, which worked to place election-denying candidates in charge of state elections in King Sweet. Oh, they do think that? Oh, all right. I've never heard that, but what do I know? The coalition received significant funding from the America Project. That's right, the organization co-founded by Flynn and Byrne. In a recent appearance on the right-wing program Nino's Corner, Savin said he reviewed an early version of the executive order during Dump's re-election campaign in the summer of 2024. Finding that version inadequate, he assembled a coalition of legal minds and election experts to formulate a new version. This is a red herring. This has got to be a red herring. I'm sorry. I don't think Juan 07 is all of a sudden at the center of the election-denying planners. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to go with it. According to Savin, the group met for several days in Washington, D.C. shortly after the inauguration. Over the following months, he said, the coalition produced approximately 13 drafts before arriving at the 17 page. Isn't that cute? 17. That's so QAnon. 17-page version circulated that spring. The page count may not be coincidental. Within QAnon lore, the number 17 carries symbolic meaning because Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, and believers often treat the number as a coded signal. They treat everything as a coded signal. Some who say they were part of Savin's coalition have since claimed credit for helping the draft the proposed order. Among them is Tim Canova, a professor of law and public finance at Nova Southeastern University's Shepherd Broad College of Law, who said he researched statutory authorities for the proposed order alongside Garland Favorito. I don't want to play anymore. You know what? I just want to be a funny girl on the internet. Okay, a funny old lady. Yeah, gematria. I know the numbers people. I remember, okay, so the gematria guy died. I think I still have a recording of me on his Telegram space with him asking him about numbers, but now I don't know if I still have that phone. But I did interact with the gematria guy, the really big one, as part of one of his live telegrams. I can't remember what I asked him. It was something with numbers. It might have been a riddle. Anyway, let's see. Tim Canova, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Garland Favorito. Wait, I have Garland Favorito right here. Hold on just a minute. Everybody, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't do it. Let me see. Where's Garland Favorito? Hold on. Oh, and by the way, Garland Favorito still hates you, Gal Suburban. I hate you. That's right. I don't like that Gal Suburban. I don't like her at all. I don't like her. And then I wonder if this guy's going to come back. Whoops. Oh, where is he? Oh, where are you? Doug, where'd you go? Oh, I don't know where you are. Wait, I had a Doug, but wait, where is he? Where's Garland? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Mr. Favorito? Oh, there you are. Hold on, here he is. Hi, Garland. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yep, we're reading all about you, you little motherfucker. That's right, you fucker. Asked for comment. Oh, yeah. Canovo described Favorito as playing a, quote, more significant role than anyone in trying to fuck up the 2020 election. Oh, I mean, in coordinating the coalition's efforts to draft the proposed order. Of course he did. Asked for comment, Favorito did not address the accuracy of that description. He declined to discuss the draft order, saying he hadn't read it. I am making fun of him. Just let it be. You are
basically asking me to comment on something I haven't read based on hearsay and speculation about currently non-existent actions the president could theoretically take.
Others who have suggested that they played a role in the process include Mark Cook, a Colorado election skeptic who traveled the country to advocate for hand-marked paper ballots, Matt Meck, a board member of an organization called Fight Voter Fraud, Inc., and Laura Shar of South Carolina Safe Elections. I haven't heard of any of those people. It would be easy to dismiss all of this as the work of fringe activists and conspiracy theorists, one of whom, after all, has cultivated a following based on the idea that he is secretly a dead Kennedy. But some members of this same network have managed to catch the president's ear before. Why? Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. In December 2020, Flynn and Byrne, along with attorney Sidney Powell, Sidney Powell, met with Trump in the Oval Office, where they reportedly presented him with a draft executive orders, and Sidney was almost made White House special counsel. That's right. I was this close. Everybody. Do catch my Sidney Powell impression on Spaced Out Trivia 2 weeks ago. Sidney Powell did the whole show. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, yeah, Sidney Powell met with Dump in the Oval Office, where they reportedly presented him with draft executive orders. Really? Reportedly? Okay. That would have authorized federal forces to seize voting machines, an action that Dump recently said he regrets not taking. Oh, isn't that sweet? Yeah, read Jim Stewartson and Gal Suburban's piece on Substack called The Insurrection Was Plan B. We need to read that again. It would be easy to dismiss all of this. Oh, wait. The election deniers, the election denial movement's access and proximity to power has, if anything, only grown since 2020. And it was pretty fucking close then, too, bitch. Okay? I'm just saying. Last week, ProPublica reported that Flynn convened an election integrity summit at which prominent figures who worked to overturn the 2020 election urged the president to declare a national emergency before the midterms. The meeting was attended by several senior government officials, including Olson and Heather Honey. Oh, that's right, who oversees election integrity at the Department of Homeland Security, and has previously floated the idea that Dump could declare a national emergency to justify new voting rules. Well, we all know about Heather Honey, okay? We know about Heather Honey. She's also an operative. She also was operating to try and overturn the 2020 election by falsely testifying in cases around shit. So, yeah, Heather, we see you. Proponents of the proposed order certainly seem confident that the order has gained traction within the administration. Girl, you don't have to worry about that. Last word I had was that the order had made it to the White House. Oh, really? And that it had the president's attention and his White House lawyers. Yeah, election integrity. But that was a lot of months ago, Canova told us. Savin made a similar claim in a December 2025 interview with John Michael Chambers. The president's had it on his desk. Attorneys are looking at it. We've been told that what he's going to sign in that executive order is like 80 to 90% of what we have. Great. Whether that confidence is warranted remains unclear, but the network of activists, lawyers, and conspiracy theorists who helped shape the draft order have spent years trying to persuade Dump to use the powers of the presidency to change the elections process in America, and they appear convinced that their moment may finally be approaching. They won! What don't you get? What don't you get? They won. Let me pull up this other one. I got to tell you a little bit about Garland Favorito. Let me tell you about Garland Favorito. Hold on just a minute. Hold on. This is from December of 2021. Oh my God, we've been doing this so long. Oh, I just feel like I'm so old. Oh God, where is it? Okay, here we go. Hold on. Let me show you this. God damn it. I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play anymore. Ooh. Okay, let me show you this. This is a gal tweet from December of 2021, of all things. Hey, here's my new friend as of yesterday. What up, Favorito? What were you worried about? This is what you were worried about? Seemed pretty proud of your sedition last night. So this is Garland Favorito liked your reply. And then he retweeted it and he followed you, gal. While you're pointing out what he is, all the fuckery. Let's see. Oh my God, he reposted everything. I forgot that he reposted you. He's such a fucking idiot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This was the original. Literally, this is Gal's research on this fucking economic war room, which was one. This was just a pull apart of this memo. Oh my God, I'm dying. I love that. I love that. Let's see. But then didn't he tell you he hated you or something? I can't remember. I don't know. So many people hate us. I don't know. Yeah, Michael Cohen. We're going to talk about that. Precisely what the president meant last month when he declared that the Republicans should nationalize the voting. The voting remains a mystery. But his rantings offer a few clues as to his aims, and so does the more measured, if equally unfounded, reasoning in documents past and present related to executive authority over elections. Quote, there will be voter ID for the midterm elections, whether approved by Congress or not. Dump posted on Truth Social, his own bulletin board, in the same February 13th missive that teased his irrefutable legal argument. Also, the people of our country are insisting on citizenship. No mail-in ballots, with exceptions for military, disability, illness, or travel. He continued, no voter ID is even crazier and more ridiculous than men playing in women's sports, open borders, or transgender for everyone. Transgender for everyone! A prohibition on transgender for everyone does not, of course, appear in the draft executive order on which the Washington Post reported, nor in the March 2025 executive order on elections that the courts could have been eviscerating piece by piece, nor in the Save America Act that recently passed the House of Representatives. Wait, what? Oh, okay. But some combination of voter ID, proof of citizenship, limits on mail-in ballots, and strict standards. Wait a minute. In the Save America Act, there is provisions to outlaw surgeries, gender-affirming care for minors. Wait, and no trans people can participate in sporting events, I guess. Those are in the Save America Act. Am I wrong? Were they taken out? Because I think they're still in. Okay, wait. Maybe I'm probably just fucking jumping ahead of myself. Okay. The Save America Act would require the vast majority of Americans to register to vote in person at their local election office by showing not only their photo ID, but also some separate proof of citizenship, such as a passport or certified birth certificate, then show identification conforming to a stringent set of requirements on election day itself. Only about 6% of Americans register to vote in person today. To vote by mail, voters would have to include a printed out copy of their voter ID, both in requesting and submitting their ballot. The Save America Act would also force states to submit their voter rolls regularly to the Department of Homeland Security. These strictures may sound familiar to those alert to Trump's March 2025 order, which sought to take presidential control of key parts of elections and central provisions which have been blocked by 3 federal courts. But in some ways, the Save America rules are actually even stricter. The March order also mandated that citizens, quote, show their papers when registering to vote, but it did so by instructing the Election Assistance Commission, a bipartisan independent agency supporting election administration, to change its mail registration form to require a passport or a photo ID proving citizenship. Most IDs don't do this. It didn't, in other words, seek to compel Americans to vote in person, though it did target mail-in ballots by purport to penalize states that could count those postmarked before but received after Election Day. The March order matched the Save America Act in its attempt to grant the Department of Homeland Security as well, being a product of its time, Elon Musk's doggy access to voter rolls. And it exceeded Save America by also seeking to give the Justice Department access to sensitive information about voters to assist in the prosecution of election crimes. The March order also insisted on the decertification of a wide array of voting machines to be recertified only if they meet a set of standards that experts have said could cost so much money, not to mention so much time, that complying in time for the midterms would be infeasible. The version of the draft executive order that Tickton provided to Democracy Docket last month, entitled Establishing Security, Integrity, and Transparency for United States Elections with Protections Against Foreign Interference, takes this same set of elements to almost comical and almost certainly unconstitutional extremes. Its 17 pages read like an accounting of an election denier's wildest dreams. Many of the concerns of the reforms are calculated to clearly connect to a favorite 2020 conspiracy theories. Non-bleed pens make an appearance. Other interventions simply render it as cumbersome as possible to cast a ballot. Provisions devoted to voter eligibility would demand of would-be voters proof of identity, U.S. citizenship, and current permanent residency in the precinct. Those criteria are unenforceable if they're unverifiable, so the order instructs the Department of Homeland Security, the Social Security Administration, U.S. Postal Service, and Justice Department all to provide electronic access to sensitive databases, not merely to states, but also to private citizens. That way, anyone who pleases may confirm or challenge individuals' eligibility. I can't even. Voters must register anew, in person, with remote registration only available to the disabled, infirm, or otherwise unable to travel, and verify their registration in every future election via a system involving a PIN provided by a postcard. The draft order actually does to mail-in voting what Dump has been clamoring for. If you don't show up on Election Day, you probably can't vote at all. Absentee ballots are only acceptable if a voter submits a signed affidavit attesting to a confirmed medical condition preventing in-person voting or a verified travel or legal reason, plus they must be submitted in a notarized envelope. And drop boxes are expressly prohibited. Oh my God, this is going to be a long day. Let's see. I feel dumb. Oh wait, Jane. The ID is presented, when you register. Let's see. I feel dumb that I thought Cohen could have been reformed for a while, but then when but where Stormy says in a pod she thought MC was behind being followed and threatened. His denial didn't ring true. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You know what it is? I don't care how many transgender athletes there are. I really don't. Transgender women are women. Period. Full stop. Transgender men are men. That's it. I don't care. It's not my business. And transgender people should be able to participate in any goddamn motherfucking thing they want to. So stop, everybody. I can't. I just won't with that. Yeah, it's just I get I'm so angry. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's one person. Like, I think this is like, we have got to stand tall on this. We're missing a huge opportunity to stand up for people and to stand against this. Okay, let's see. Expressly prohibited. Okay. Ballots must be publicly unsealed, publicly hand-counted, and publicly totaled at each precinct under video recording before being made publicly available on the county website. Tickton said in our conversation that this public hand counting was the most important aspect of the order for him because of his concerns about phone chips in the tabulation machines. Every single piece of this has been debunked. Period. That's it. Priorities are off. Yeah. I don't know. Yikes. Trump complains about transgender asset, then he lets Caitlyn Jenner tee off from the women's tee. Oh, is Caitlyn Jenner still around? Haven't heard about her lately. Let's see. Tickton said in our conversation. Oh, okay. The phone chips, yeah. The order also instructs counties not to certify elections before they verified them, including by publishing evidence, findings, conclusions for all, incident reports, and concerns submitted. I feel like that stuff is available. After certification, anyone remaining skeptical will have an even deeper well of material to plumb. All original election ballots, video recordings, scanned ballot PDF files, voter registration lists, documents, and related paper or electronic records created during an election shall be available at no charge for public inspection. You can't do any of this, okay? In high definition video and 600 DPI color font? What? You can't do any of this. There's no way any of that can happen. Anything like that. And you know what? They got access to a lot of this information in the time since the 2020 election, and they couldn't do it. They got information. They had access to a lot of this information, these motherfuckers. They went state by state and forced secretaries of state and election clerks to give them access to voter information, and they still couldn't prove their fucking theories, okay? They still couldn't prove their fucking theories. So this is all done. We did this. We've done this. And if this goddamn motherfucking journalist world would start to understand that what they can do is look back at what was happening from 2020 on and actually say, hey, guess what, guys? All of these have been debunked. I'm not even going to give them any fucking airtime. The executive order, understandably given the activist's unshakable conviction, despite all evidence to the contrary, that machines have been hacked by various foreign adversaries, moves on to intervening in the election's infrastructure, much as the March order would have done. The order would insist that all hardware involved in U.S. elections be wholly manufactured in America by an American-owned company made by United States citizens. A newly concocted entity called the White House Office of Federal Election Security would federally certify infrastructure to verify that it's free of vulnerabilities. No, it wouldn't. God, none of that would happen. None of it. The draft order is worth considering alongside the Save America Act and the March 2025 EO, not because the president will try to do all these things, no, so much as because he might try to do some of them. But as important as what the president hopes to accomplish in the realm of federal elections is the legal theory under which he hopes to accomplish it. The greatest obstacle facing a president seeking to exercise authority over elections is obvious. The president has no authority over elections. The Elections Clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 4, leaves not even an inch of room for interpretation, reading, quote, "The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. The only other entity with any power here is Congress, which, quote, may at any time by law make or alter such regulations. There is a reason, in other words, that the Save America Act is just that, an act of Congress designed to reshape the federal election landscape in ways only Congress can do. Practically every provision of the draft order constitutes a change to the manner of holding elections. So, too, did the conditions of the March order, which is why its every element is now under judicial review and why those judges who have already ruled on the subject have come out uniformly against the White House. U.S. District Judge Colleen Collar-Catelli, in blocking that order's proof of citizenship requirements, wrote, "Put simply, our Constitution does not allow the president to impose unilateral changes to federal election procedures. The president, however, may well believe that national emergency is a set of magic words that does allow him to do exactly that, rob Congress of its powers. He did it with the money. What the fuck is going on here? Are we so goddamn dumb?" Certainly, he has taken that view in other contexts, from the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants to the deployment of U.S. troops to U.S. cities to clear to his signature tariffs, on which he was recently rebuffed by the Supreme Court. And the rescissions. Okay, hello. Oh my God. Trump also said in January that he regrets not seizing voting machines after his 2020 loss. That gambit would also have relied on an invocation of a national emergency, at least according to the copy Politico obtained of the draft executive order. Some of his more advisors were urging him to sign in December of that year. But how exactly would Trump attempt to pull this off? That's where the draft order on which the Washington Post reported may prove revealing. Are you trying to make me cry, Gal Suburban? Is that what you're trying to do right now? The document ends with a series of directives, including to the National Director of National Intelligence, to revise the threat assessment in a separate existing EO from 2018, intending presumably to apply the legal analysis and stated authorities therein to new ends. I want to fly away. What is that song? Someday I'll fly away. Yesterday. I have to listen to that album again. Moulin Rouge. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, wait, here we go. This order entitled, remember that time I said the January 6th committee, I said that the January 6th committee should at least attempt to investigate how they might have pulled it off? Yep, I do remember that, Gal. I remember that. Oh boy. There's a lot of trauma in this story. For those who don't know our background in terms of like Gal and me and others, Gal et al. Had spent a lot of time researching what was happening in 2020 and 2021. And so this is all stuff that quite a lot of extensive work was done on in OSINT. And here we are. I don't know. The document ends with a series of directives. Okay, but wait, where am I going? This order entitled Imposing Certain Sanctions in the Event of Foreign Interference in a United States Election does what it sounds like, declares a national emergency to deal with the threat of foreign interference in elections, then creates a process for imposing sanctions on individuals and governments found to have interfered. President Joe Biden extended the order, and his administration eventually did apply its penalties to Iran and Russia. This administration, whether or not it has an emergency declaration in mind, appears to be hunting for foreign interference emergency of its own. Yeah, I know. Oh boy. The Washington Post story on the draft order mentions Chinese meddling, but as Lawfare's Renee DiResta has written, the administration and its allies have been busy chasing conspiracy theories about malign activities by other states too. From Venezuela rigging the vote using Dominion voting machines to a Spanish election software company hosting real vote tallies to operatives in Italy remotely switching votes using military satellites to South Korea shipping fraudulent ballots with bamboo fibers in their paper into the United States, and to finally China hacking machines. I guess she is, Renee DiResta. Here we are. They're going to read EO 13848 wrong as usual. Yeah, I know. No one listens. Tickton's theory, Tickton's theory involves a plot among China, Venezuela, which he said was not just exporting cocaine and fentanyl, but also exporting election results to 72 different countries. And Serbia! Fuck yeah! Serbia! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! The CIA owns Serbia. That's what Sydney said. Anyway, the very woman who would be responsible for a formal threat assessment, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Toenails, last spring led an investigation into Puerto Rico's voting machines on the off chance that they'd been hacked by Venezuela. Yeah. Kurt Olson, one of Dump's officials in attendance at the election denier summit, He's buddies with all those people with whom Tickton told us he had been in touch. You're all friends, you fuckers. Reportedly pushed the narrative. Recently, Dump himself posted on Truth Social, Iran tried to interfere in 2024 elections to stop Trump, and now faces renewed war with the United States. The draft order also directs the Justice Department to investigate all documented or observed claims involving security compliance, foreign espionage, or foreign interference in past elections. But in that regard, the administration is already ahead. The FBI just this week subpoenaed records related to Maricopa County, Arizona. And last month, it raided a Fulton County, Georgia election center and left with election records. Great, the president wrote in a social media post, linking an article from a right-wing site about the developments in Arizona. The question of whether the president must prove to the courts that an emergency truly exists where he has declared one is still unresolved. But in any case, these fishing expeditionists, who have been markedly less interested in adversaries' actual attempted interference in elections, seem to hope to find evidence of mischief that would conveniently be addressed by the particular reforms they favor, such as decertifying voting machines or banning mail-in ballots. It remains unclear how stringent voter ID requirements relate to even the fantasies they've conjured up. Regardless of whatever they want people not to vote. That doesn't matter about, that doesn't fit into they don't give a shit about the election, that piece of it. They want people not to vote. That's why they're asking for ID, not because it's a fraud piece. Come on. Regardless of whatever emergency the White House does or doesn't manage to concoct, Trump faces a bigger problem. The president can't simply declare a national emergency and then do whatever he wants. Well, he has. I'm sorry. The National Emergencies Act mandate, isn't it quaint when they say, oh, but this is the law, and he wouldn't break the law. I mean, hello. The National Emergencies Act mandates that a president identify a specific statute that vests in him specific powers. The 2018 EO relies on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEPA. That makes sense for the 2018 EO, and it made sense for other EOs that used IEPA to target foreign entities for tampering with elections or engaging in other malicious cyber activity. After all, IEPA is an economic powers law, it's in the name, and the order exercises the economic power of sanctions. This power is expressly available to the executive under Section 203 of that act. Authorities include investigating, regulating, or prohibiting imports, exports, and asset transfers, in addition to freezing assets, blocking property and interest in property, and barring U.S. persons from entering into transactions related to said assets and property. The government can also confiscate property, but only when the United States is engaged in an armed conflict with the foreign country or foreign nationals to whom it belongs. Oh, he started a war. Hello. Oh, are we backing into our data? Okay. It's the property portion of the statute that MAGA-aligned activists may believe could enable the president to go after certain voting machines. But that analysis could only possibly apply to machines that are owned by foreign entities, and not any foreign entities, but foreign entities related to interference in U.S. elections. None of the vendors who exercise a near monopoly over America voting would fit that category. As for mail-in ballots, there's certainly no foreign property interest there. What's more, IEPA explicitly excludes any postal, telegraphic, telephonic, or other personal communication which does not involve a transfer of anything of value. As valuable as votes may be to the politicians they're cast for, that's obviously not what Congress meant. The draft order also explicitly mentions two other statutes, the Defense Production Act and the Federal Information Security Modernization Act. The latter isn't even an emergency statute, but its purpose is to ensure the security of federal agencies' critical system security is up to snuff, not to wrest federal control over systems from the states. Ironically, the order as proposed may violate FISMA with its manifold transparency requirements opening sensitive federal databases to federal scrutiny. The Defense Production Act, meanwhile, gives the president a power to mobilize private industry toward the public ends of national defense and emergency preparedness. It does not give the president any power to push the states around in the same manner. Some of those involved with the draft order have also indicated they don't think there's a need for the president to specify a statute under the NEA at all. On the contrary, they argue the president can declare a national emergency and then do whatever he wants, as long as the evidence for the emergency is there. That argument misreads the NEA, a Vietnam War-era regime passed to address concerns about the president's overusing or abusing their emergency powers, as a statute that broadens executive authority rather than restricts it. The president wouldn't necessarily rely on the statutes referenced in this fever dream of a draft order to try and exert control over elections, but examining those laws is instructive nonetheless, because Dump doesn't have a better option. There aren't any other statutes giving the president power over elections that he can rely on either. They simply don't exist. And that means the power doesn't exist either. Hopefully the two statutes of the draft order primarily draws on, offer lessons why this is true. One of the lessons comes from the very recent Supreme Court decision in Learning Resources v. Trump, in which 6 of the 9 justices determined that IEPA does not authorize tariffs. Justice Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson did so through statutory interpretation alone, simply looking at IEPA and not finding the authority there. Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Gorsuch, and Barrett did so through the major questions doctrine, the controversial theory that Congress must be hyper-specific when it comes to matters of, quote, vast economic or political significance, of which elections surely would be one. Roberts wrote that Congress's surrender to the president of its constitutional power over tariffs couldn't be interpreted to lurk in ambiguous statutory text. Neither, presumably, could Congress's surrender of its and states' power over the time, place, and manner of elections. Whether the president had reason to believe voting machines or mail-in ballots constituted a national security threat wouldn't matter. It's also possible that the president wouldn't choose to embark on a search for a phantom statute that gives him power over elections. Instead, he might settle for a vague Article 2 claim, insisting that his constitutional role as commander-in-chief not only empowers but even requires him to take all manner of actions to protect the national security, including against foreign interference in elections. The March 2025 order involved a take care clause analysis that didn't invoke national security. That move would still invite a separation of powers analysis, the seminal case for which is Youngstown Sheet and Tube Company v. Sawyer, a dispute involving, yes, the Defense Production Act. In Youngstown, President Truman attempted to commandeer the domestic steel industry during the Korean War to forestall a countrywide strike that he said would jeopardize national defense, citing his Article 2, Section 1 duty to enforce the laws and his authority as commander-in-chief to do so. The court declared the seizure unconstitutional on the grounds that the president had impermissibly tried to exercise a power vested solely in the legislature. Well, that's a different court, isn't it? Isn't that a different court, Anna? You know. I'm sorry, I'm picking on Anna, and I really like her. But come on. She doesn't care if I say that. Justice Hugo Black, writing for the court, declared, the president's power, if any, to issue the order must stem from an act of Congress or from the Constitution itself. Well, that doesn't mean anything to this one. Justice Robert Jackson, in a now famous concurrence, created 3 categories to evaluate presidential actions in descending order of his force of power. Those, quote, pursuant to an express or implied authorization of Congress, those in absence of either a congressional grant or denial of authority where he can rely on his independent powers, but there is a zone of twilight in which he and Congress may have concurrent authority, and those incompatible with the express or implied will of Congress. The last of these categories places his power at its lowest ebb, and he must rely only upon his own constitutional powers minus the constitutional powers of Congress over the matter. His own constitutional powers in the matter of elections are 0. Jackson's equation in this context should work out to a negative solution. Those who think Dump will wake up tomorrow and sign the 17-page document activists are clamoring for him to pay attention to are likely mistaken, but it would be just as foolish to ignore altogether the various warning signs that the president has some interest in exploring a voting-related national emergency of some form. Certainly, there's a risk of taking frivolous legal argument more seriously than it deserves. On the other hand, Trump himself does have a habit of seriously entertaining unserious people and ideas. If Dump does embark on this kind of electoral power grab, what happens? Most of the changes he wants made prior to elections will require compliance from the states, in which their simplest option is obvious: ignore him. The issue would invariably make it to court, at which point orders would pour in telling the president, no, states can do what they want. Defying judicial decree would require the White House taking the extraordinary step of strong arming states into doing its bidding. The chance that officials in some red states don't say no and instead use the order as a pretext to take steps in purported compliance, even if those states violate their own laws by doing so, is a different sort of worry, one that would likely prompt litigation from voting groups. Yet precisely how federal law enforcement would handle the heavy administrative lift of forcing localities to conform to the registration and ID requirements is unclear. Attempting to ensure that the hand counting of ballots or to prevent states from tabulating mail-in ballots at all would likely require the physical presence of federal forces, whether law enforcement or troops. Another troubling possibility is that Dump could try to seize voting machines or ballots after the election has taken place, according to the theory that they were used or cast in violation of any emergency order issued before voting. Or he could do the same thing pursuant to an emergency order following the vote that claims foreign interference in the 2026 election, as the 2020 draft order he reportedly considered signing would have done. In our interview, Tickton insisted that recent Texas primaries revealed machines are already manipulating the results in Republican primaries by inserting duplicate voters to support a leftist who is extremely woke, end quote. Again, there's no evidence for this. The real emergency, in short, isn't that the president may actually manage to present an irrefutable argument, but that he may fail to, yet say he has succeeded anyway. Well, that was a little frustrating. No, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, he did. He started a war. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Why has this morning been so exhausting? And we're just like, we've done practically nothing. Oh my God, I'm sorry I stepped away from chat. It's like they forgot where the voting machines are manufactured and based out of. Yeah, exactly. That's why EO 13848 can apply. That's what Gal is saying. La 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 la. What? What? Oh my God. Renee DiResta worked for the Teal Foundation before working for New Knowledge, an influence company that morphed into the paid troll Operation Yonder. She is full of shit and a great reason not to trust this exodus to blue sky. This is from 2024. Before you delete your account, ask yourself why Elmo doesn't consume. Because he doesn't care. Yeah. Interesting. Oh boy. Even little Judy has an angle, huh? God damn. God damn. Well, I didn't realize that. That's crazy. Relying on the court. I know. Relying on the courts to tell him this is illegal. That seems. I found that a very challenging article to read. Yeah, it sounds like. I don't understand. I don't understand this world. I don't understand. I'm working on migrating to North Sky and Black Sky because Blue Sky is getting more and more hostile to trans people from the Blue Sky moderation and ex-CEO. Yeah. And wait, I think did I have a Blue Sky? Oh, no, we read about Jay Graber yesterday. You got to read the opening of our Plan B. LOL, how scary. Well, we wrote it. Yes. Yes. Boop, boop. Boopity boop. Boop, boop. Boopity boop. Boop, boop. Boopity boop. I am going to. Oh, whoops. Is that it? No. No. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of EO 13848, which we were. Oops. Wait. Oh shit. Oh poop. Come here, baby. Come on over, baby. Come on over. Come on. Let me. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not gonna make it any bigger. I hate it. Griffey. Hugh Sky. Only dogs. Husky. I get it. That's funny. Let's start our own. Can we start our own and then nobody actually runs it? And it's just like well, I guess we have our own. It's called Discord. We have our own platform, although nobody really moderates it because we don't really need to. I don't know. That's just the way it is. So there we go. Hi, babes. Oh, Bubs. That would be a great site. Can we? That's what we should do. We'll rename our Discord Husky. Hugh Sky. Okay, this is from way back when, April 13, 22. Yeah, the cats would not be happy about that. If you haven't read this, I'll include it in the, oops, wait a minute. Let me get out of here. Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how to. Okay, I'm just going to read it to you because it's not going to take me that long. Almost your time. Okay, the insurrection was Plan B, the secret plan to overturn the election. This is from 2022. You cannot make this shit up. I'll just move myself out of the way. It's going to be faster. No, it's not. Just kidding. I'll make myself small. Aw, you guys miss each other. I love as you wrote that Lucy came over and wrapped her paws around my forearm. Oh, God, I love that. The secret plan to overturn the election. This is a multi-part thing, but here we go. Part 1. The day that could have ended America. Well, it did, didn't it? And didn't even, President Dump on December 18th, 2020. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat. It's a great, great day. My administration has always made the integrity of our elections a priority. A lot of people are saying that we've done the best they've seen. That's why in 2018 I signed an executive order giving us the ability to take a look at the fairness of our elections very quickly after voting. So I'm pleased to announce that the Office of Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, has, stand up, John. Everyone give Director Ratcliffe a hand. He has issued a big report today. And I have to say this, John, very fair. Everyone knows that there was foreign interference in the election, foreign interference by Italy and by Venezuela and by China, so corrupt. Now we have proof. Pursuant to Executive Order 13848, I'm directing the U.S. Agency for International Development to render humanitarian assistance to the states where our intelligence agencies have proven foreign meddling. USAID, together with the National Guard, are currently moving to collect Dominion voting machines, causing so many problems. They'll bring law and order to the voting process. Once the machines are secured, we'll rely on USAID together with the National Guard and local law enforcement to re-administer the election in specific states and counties with proof of foreign interference. As you know, there are certain states, certain governors who need our help, so we will give it to them. We're sending our best people. I call them the Democracy Crusaders. They'll be great, the leadership too. I know their experience with elections abroad will be implemented strongly here at home. We'll get to the bottom of it. Thank you. Quote, this almost happened, except for one thing. The report that was supposed to be delivered from the ODNI on December 18th, 2020 was not. So that's what doesn't it sound kind of like something he could say? So that's why, folks, I think we should understand that while this may be a ragtag bunch of fuckwads, they created the environment of disinformation and mind fucking that enabled this regime to be put into power. And they understand that if this regime is not in power, that they don't have a second chance. And they need absolution. Because people like Patrick Byrne have been on the run specifically because he knows he does not have absolution and that he will go to prison for the rest of his miserable life. And that's why this is so not far-fetched, because we're sitting here today in the middle of World War Emerging 3. People are dying. People are being renditioned out of this country. People are being shot in the face. Rights are eroded. People who are trans in Kansas don't have valid identification because the state rescinded it. It all happened. So this ragtag group that you think might, he's certainly not going to sign it as written. No, they never do. They never sign it as written. But this is what we're living right now, folks. And these people are capable of things that we normally don't think of people as being capable of doing. And now they realize that if they don't win the midterms, all bets are off. And there's a much higher percentage chance that a lot of them are going to go to prison. I don't know. I voted for the lady who laughed too much. Yeah. Anyway, and this is what autocrats do, yeah. And there's a lot riding on this, okay? There's a lot. That's why he's so panicked about the tariffs, because if he loses that revenue stream, it fucks up the big ugly bill, guys. Because he's cut taxes on corporations to the point where the revenue that's going to go out the door in the form of refunds, if you will, to corporations is monstrous. Something that they would have to, I don't know how you write off expenses. What is it, 5 years, 3 years? I'm not sure how many years corporations can typically write expenses off, of their taxes. But he literally, he literally made it so that corporations, versus spreading out expenses over whatever number of years, so that, you would have less impact to the revenue coming into the country, or tax revenue or refunds going out, right? He basically said in this big ugly bill that is law now that corporations can write off 100% in the first year. Yeah. They don't have to spread out those expenses. They can just write them all off. Free money. Free fucking money. And without the revenue from tariffs, which is basically passing that tax liability to us as consumers, he's fucked. He's fucked. So, never mind that. He also has credibly raped children. And that shit is out. 5 years? Yeah, I think it's 5 or 3 or 5, 10. I don't know. Well, anyway, now it's 1. Okay? Now it's all bets are off. Just do it now. Take the money and run. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, take the money and run. Oh, God. Go on, take the money and run. Boop, boop, boop. Of course, there's good use cases for that, right? You could definitely create a tax code which encouraged people to build and, do all those kinds of things. Like you could do that. You could do that. Twilight Zone was actually an anti-racism psyop. Is that good? Anti-racism, yeah. Psyop. I think of psyops as bad, but maybe that one sounds pretty good. Yeah, it's a great show. Go on, take the money and run. Ooh, hoo, hoo. All right. Well, I think I've spent enough time, but guess what? Guess what tonight is? Tonight. Oh, Yeah, Gore. Boy, that was frustrating. Oh man, that was like I thought that was one of the more painful periods in our history, but nope. Hold my arsenic. Welcome to 2021 and or 2016 and beyond. Yeah, happy Friday the 13th. Hey, but you know what tonight is? Tonight. Oh, we're gonna do trivia tonight. So yeah, Spaced Out Trivia is back tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Everything outside and in between. After the 5/8. Don't forget Rad Pod should probably play this afternoon sometime, I think at 1 Pacific. Sometimes around that. But yep, hi Kim. But tonight, trivia. Let's be trivial. So come on tonight, relax, laugh, just have a good time for a couple hours. Try to forget about what might be happening that is so, that we do need to keep our minds on. But you can take 2 hours off and just laugh. Yeah, he had to think how to get racists to digest their BS and question their morality. I think that's amazing. That is totally amazing. So we start at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Everything in and Friday the 13th and RadPod this afternoon. Absolutely. Is it at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern? I'm not sure what time they are. Forgive me for not knowing, but beautiful friends at RadPod. Love them so much. We read beautiful Heidi's piece the other day about Anna Politkovskaya, which was amazing. What are the movies? Oh, well, let's go to Discord. Hold on. I don't know. I put up some ideas, and then GP weighed in on some of the ideas, and then I don't think we made a decision. But there is some stuff in, if you go to Discord, there's a pinned message. Here's our Discord. There's a Discord. Yeah. Oh boy, if you don't join our Discord, you're ridiculous. Yeah. Oh my God, U.S. Internal Revenue order forms for opium. That is so cool, Max. Yay, the 5/8. Yay. So anyway, this is our Discord, and we play Wordle too. Some of us do, not everybody. But let me see about the movies. What did I do? Let me see. This was a jump. This was the movie ideas that I came up with, but they were just ideas, right? So yeah, it was not. RadPod is at 2 p.m. Pacific today. Thank you, Oren. Good morning, love. You're exhausted. Aw, bun. I get it. It's Rig Trivia Night. That's right. This is like a trivia game you've never played before, so just drop all your expectations. Okay, let's see. I think what I'm going to go with, unless people are upset about it, is After Hours, 1985, Martin Scorsese movie. Do you remember that movie? Do you remember that? Yes, 4 p.m. Central. Thank you, Dan. After Hours, 1985. So I was thinking of that because GP in Australia doesn't have access to Wag the Dog, but he has access to this. But he thinks Mulholland Drive is silly. So I have never seen Mulholland Drive, and I have really no desire to see it. It's just that I thought I'd put it up there. But After Hours was an idea, 1985, or Contact with Jodie Foster. I love Jodie Foster. And then we have a second movie on Saturday nights is what we're talking about. If you're not familiar. J Rance, you like Contact? Okay. I never have trivia expectations. Thank you, Kim. You got the assignment. Girl, you get me. You get me. But I was thinking either After Hours or Contact. Why don't we watch Contact then? I like it when people say, hey, I like that movie. All right, so Contact is the first movie. 3, 2, 1, Contact. And then I think we're going to watch Doomsday Machine, which is a 1972 silly movie. So we usually have the first movie is more like a bigger blockbuster kind of thing. Oh, good. Let's do Contact. And then the second choice is usually like a B movie, a little bit of soft porn, because We're all grown-ups. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, no, Jay. And then, so we'll play Doomsday Machine, and that will happen right after. So that will happen at 5:30 tomorrow. 5:30 p.m. tomorrow is movie night on Discord. Okay? That. So, yeah, definitely softcore. No, we just watch a lot of 70s movies. Exile. We just watch a lot of 70s and 60s movies. And, of course, they're just, like, goofy, right? Oh, yeah, Bridget Bardot Contacts. I was in 7th grade in 1972. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, yeah, probably me too. Oh, no, wait. No, I wasn't. I don't know how old I am. Sábado Gigante. That's right. Oh, I love that show, actually, by the way. Yeah, so we watch a lot of 60s, 70s sci-fi, camp, Italian movies, all kinds of stuff. And Max is one of our beautiful curators of great pulp films and all that stuff. So please join us. Please join us on the Discord. And I'll put up links on my social media if you don't follow. I'll put it up on my YouTube community post too. I'll put links to our Discord on my community post probably by like this afternoon. And I want to rewatch Close Encounters too. Meowing, let's do that. You were scared of the Yip Yip aliens on Sesame Street. I was too, Jay. Oh my God. Yeah, Contact with Jodie Foster. I love Jodie. I love Jodie Foster. All right. So those are the movies. I'll let GP know because he had already approved those movies, that those are things he can access down in Australia. So yeah, I know the Yip Yip aliens on Sesame Street scared me too. It doesn't matter. You know what? We can close our eyes. My first watching of Close Encounters was on Laserdisc. Fuck yeah. Okay, Contact seemed like such a generic title. No, it's the one with Jodie Foster. Bring. What is that? Bring. What is that from? They're probably MAGA now. I know. That makes me feel better. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, it totally did. They totally freaked me out. The sound freaks me out, I think. So, yeah. Anyway, GP's typing. Wait, that's a great idea. Oh, wait. Oh, Max has so much medical and historical stuff from her grandparents. She's going to looking at donating to a museum or medical school. That's really cool. That's a great idea. I was thinking of that with my dad's World War II stuff, too. I have a lot of his World War II. My siblings and I have a lot of his World War II stuff, and my uncles. And I'm thinking that I'd like to get it into some kind of museum or something. Or just, donate it to some kind of historical whatever. The Fourth Kind, that is a great movie, Teresa. That's really scary. It's really scary. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. Mulholland Falls and Mulholland Drive is a double feature. I will totally do that. I know, Fourth Kind was very scary. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. I really appreciate it. And putting up with my sound issues and all that shit. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Friday. If I don't see you tonight, have a great Friday. If I don't see you tomorrow in Discord, have a great weekend. And then I'll be back on Monday morning at the same time. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.